Does Andrew do this, John Bird? Every time the camera comes back on, does he play with his hair a little bit? This is turning into a thing over
No,
here.
he's like addicted to his phone.
Oh, is that what
Everywhere
it
he's
is?
going, oh, and he'll look.
More than once when I was filling in for Leland, AJ would switch the camera on as I was like reapplying lipstick or something. I'm like, yeah, you don't do that to Leland, do you?
That's how we have fun, actually.
Oh, that's your idea of entertainment. Well, Apryl Marie here. Good afternoon, everybody. Filling in for Andrew. We're not going to tell you where Andrew is, but I do want to point out within the last week, partially and due to some of the pressure put on him, the sheriff of Blount County has in fact said he's not running for re-election and is going to resign as soon as he gets another job. So no hints here, Deputy John Bird. Just throwing out there that Andrew needed to take the day off.
I don't know where the heck he is.
Don't have any clue.
He's not at the Blount County courthouse. I know that.
Apryl Marie here, and I'm so excited to be joined in studio. If you're reading and keeping up with 1819 News, I have done 3 pieces on this story. There's just been so much to cover, but we've got Mr. Finn Church in studio with us. Hi there. Good afternoon.
Thank you for having me, April.
Well, Leland had on John Rich, but if you are new to Mr. Church's story, you are a Shelby County Calera property owner.
Correct.
And the short version of the long story is Alabama Power has decided through eminent domain they are going to get 3 spots on your property?
My front driveway. They want, of course, they want to build the main transmission line on the back of my property, but they also want all my roads as easements.
And y'all have been to court over this.
That's
just
correct.
Last month, and the judge gave them that.
That's correct.
And now you've got the backing of the White House through John Rich in his role as what is he? He's the special envoy for property owners.
That's correct.
That's amazing. Okay, tell me how surreal has this last week been?
It's been incredible. I don't think I've slept more than 3 hours a night. I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and all these thoughts are still running through my head. But all I'm trying to do is protect my rights as a private homeowner to my privacy coming down my front driveway.
Yeah. It's kind of a crazy situation, and I have seen multiple videos. There was a video that John Rich posted that you did, and then the gentleman from Huntsville who came down and toured from who really warned about what happens when government starts taking property. He's lived through it. So it's a gorgeous piece of property.
Thank you very much.
Could you ever have imagined that you would be going through this fight?
No, once you pay for it or get it paid for, you just think it's yours. I mean, of course, you got to pay property taxes every year, but you just don't think anybody's going to come just take it from you.
Yeah, and I talked a little bit earlier. You pointed out that it's not just Alabama Power who can use these easements in your front driveway. Through House Bill 400, which passed in 2019, they can rent out, or is it rent out or lease
Yep.
the rights to that to any telecommunications company.
That's correct.
When you found this out, like, what was your initial response?
It's just, I don't know how in the world any private company can have this much authority, but it was given to them by our state legislature in 2019.
Have you talked to your state representatives or any of the lawmakers about this?
I sure have.
Okay.
And my Senator Lance Bell has been the one the most vocal in helping me
most
with
responsive.
this.
Yeah.
And talked to Senator Britt this morning.
That's a big important phone call to have there.
She and I go way back. We have a family history together. I've known her since she was in high school.
Oh wow. Okay, so you've known her for a minute.
In fact, her mother was my wedding director.
Seriously. That's a small town connection.
Yeah.
That's really fantastic. Now, does she give you any, John Rich has been out there. He said he's going to take this to the highest levels. I know he's kind of looped in some of the federal agencies. Are you getting a sense that you might be getting somewhere?
We're getting some traction. And let me tell you one thing about John Rich. I mean, I've never met this guy in my life, and he is the real deal. I mean, I didn't expect this kind of one-on-one personal attention that he's given me. I can't imagine what his life has been like in the last 2 weeks. I mean, because I'm taking up a huge portion of it. But he is the real deal. He is so sincere. He is a true-blooded American that wants to stand up for farmers, ranchers, or any kind of landowners against frivolous eminent domain from data centers or transmission lines.
And we are seeing a lot of the, Leland mentioned that when he was talking to John, is that we're seeing a lot of concern as these data centers come online, as people are getting them in their backyards. How much more will the power companies need, and not just here in Alabama, but around the country, to bring these things online? Are we going to see more and more of this?
I'm not anti-power company.
Yeah.
We need power in this state every day. I support that 110%.
Yep.
I'm not anti-data center, but there's a place for these facilities all over our United States. And, we can put them in industrial parks where people don't have to hear them 24 hours a day. We can put them next to landfills or something or brownfields. It's land that's already been contaminated. One of the things that they do need water, and they need electricity, and they need fiber optic cable.
Yeah, and that goes back to the your land. So let's talk a little bit about your land. Now, obviously, we're on radio, so we can't show you, but describe what is it like, and what did you buy into? What were you hoping there to retire there to see?
I just I wanted to move out. Lived here in Mountain Brook for 25 years.
Oh, okay.
Moved out 3 years ago to my farm in Shelby County, and I was just looking for a place to just have peace and quiet at night on the weekends. I have 4 hunting dogs.
I was gonna say I saw 2 dogs in a video.
Yeah.
I think.
And those dogs need to run about 2 to 3 miles every day just to get the energy out of them.
Wow.
I've already treated 2 for snake bites this year,
Oh, no.
and almost had a third Tuesday night.
Oh, wow.
But anyway,
It's beautiful property.
it's this is the way I've always worked my life. I have always put in close to 60 hours or more Monday through Friday, and tried to limit my weekends unless it was an absolute emergency. But what I try to do is, I'm a country boy. I grew up in Dothan, Alabama, in the Wiregrass.
Yep.
I just try to get away from the hustle and bustle of the real world on the weekends. I don't really want to see very many people unless they're real close friends of mine. Yep. to enjoy it with. And I recharge my batteries every weekend. And my mind just is at ease. And Monday morning when I get back at work, I'm charged up and ready to go and ready to hit it again.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard the interview that Mr. Rich did with Leland, but he said you're country smart. He was describing you that way, and we've seen a lot. Now you own a trucking company, and
That's
you've
correct.
been very very involved with the Trucking Association. So probably more people in terms of people in politics or people you mentioned knowing Katie than a normal homeowner would. Do you feel like now that you're starting to get a little bit more attention that you may have some positive resolution?
I hope so. I talked to David Faulkner, is a good friend of mine,
Okay.
And we have a long history together. Our fathers grew up together. I talked to Dale Strong this morning.
Oh, wow.
He is strongly in my corner.
Good.
And I've reached out to several others. I've tried to reach Barry Moore. Barry Moore and I are good friends, but I haven't been able to touch base with him yet. Donnie Chastain is a senator from Geneva County. Donnie and I have 40 years of history together. Josh Carnley, also.
You really do know a lot of people.
Josh and I go a long ways back.
So, the legal side of this, one of the reasons they've said that they are, they can't really talk about it is an ongoing legal battle. What are you working to do? Where are you on that process?
I'm just trying, of course, with John Rich's lead, but we've started a grassroots campaign just to educate 98% of Alabamians don't even know that law existed.
I had no idea. We're talking about House Bill 400 from 2019 that says if the power company has access to an easement, then they can lease the rights to that to telecommunications companies.
That's correct.
And that was a bill that was touted as bipartisan, because I had to go back and look at news stories of it. It was touted as bipartisan, and it was co-sponsored by a Democrat and the Speaker of the House.
That's correct.
I did not realize that until I was listening to your interview. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about the land, a little bit more about the fight, and how you can get involved. You guys hold tight. It's Apryl Marie filling in for Andrew. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Apryl Marie here. I'm playing with my own ears over here. Can't hear myself. Apryl Marie here, filling in for Andrew. Have Mr. Finn Church in with us. If you have heard or seen John Rich this week, which he has been everywhere. He was on Leland's show earlier this week. He's been doing a lot on social media. He's fighting to help Mr. Church. Although he calls you Mr. Finn, that makes it incredibly hard to write a news story when you're transcribing. I was transcribing an interview, and he calls you Mr. Finn, and so I'm like, Mr. Finn Church, like he means Mr. Church, but
I'm Finn to everybody.
just Finn to everybody.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at here at a map of the property. Now, the thing that seems to have gotten the most attention is it's not as if there weren't an alternative route. You've got one kind of right here that runs parallel to your land.
That's correct.
Now, would that take could they put all 3 spaces that they're needing, or could they put everything they're trying to do
They could put everything they're trying to do right through there.
Right through there. And you suggested this to them, and essentially that response has been?
I was told 2 years ago that electricity runs in a straight line, and then the other alternative, I want them to run it down my eastern property boundary, which they said you have to have a special corner post for the guide wires and everything, and it would take 50 weeks to build those posts.
Okay. And that's, they're not willing to, they don't have enough time. Now, if something isn't done now, how soon until they start doing something on your property?
They're within a quarter of a mile from me now, clearing trees.
Okay.
And the other thing about the straight line, April, we were only given, just little bitty maps of our property and my neighbor's property. But when we went to court on July 8th, I got to see the whole line. It's almost 80 miles long from Otaugaville to Pelham. It's got all kinds of turnbacks in it.
Oh, seriously?
They go around everything. It looks like an inverted I-65 the way if you were going to Mobile from Birmingham, the quickest way is down Highway 5. But it's kind of inverted to go to Montgomery, and then down it kind of does a V.
Okay.
And so that's the same way this power line looks, but it's got all kinds of little turnbacks on different things that they had to go around, houses and things like that.
And so, but they're adamant that they're coming down your driveway.
That's correct.
Now, we had talked about the leasing of the space that is your front yard. So what's crazy is I started covering this. I think my first story was the first post John Rich did. It had gotten to me a couple of different times. And then I did the visit. Now, and you're going to have to remind me what the gentleman's name is from Africa. Who was that came to your house?
Jason Bartlett. He lives in Hartselle.
Oh, he lives in Hartselle. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, was that was another one where he saw John Rich's and then he reached out to you?
That's correct. And he is an amazing guy, and everybody needs to hear his story. He and his wife fled because their families were being murdered there.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
And they took over his family farmland, and he didn't get anything for it.
Wow. And so he came, he toured your property, he posted a video. That's gone semi-viral. And then, of course, John Rich has been right here on this channel. So we've seen that people are paying attention. If you had to ask people, what could they do? What can a listener do to help you? What do you ask? What are you and John asking?
Well, I'm just asking. I've got hundreds, thousands of friends, and that's the one thing about me. When I leave this earth, I've been able to make friendships all across the United States, but especially here in Alabama. And I've gained so many friends this week. I don't even know how to do my Facebook. I have to get one of my girls in my office to update it. I've got so many friend requests on Facebook. Yesterday, all I did was sit there. I know how to accept friend requests. So if you're a friend of mine this week, I've accepted that request. I'm asking everybody to keep this issue to their elected representatives and let them know how they feel about it. This is my home. This is not my farm. This is not my business. This is my home where I spend every night.
Right.
And if it can happen to me, it can happen to anybody. It just seems like everybody's described me as the tip of the iceberg. And I guess, I wasn't going to stand for it. It's just, my Fourth Amendment rights were being demolished.
And so John Rich described, you reached out to him, and he said he's had several long conversations with you. In one of those, you talked about what this means to you as just a proud patriotic American, as a proud Alabamian. This has come as quite a surprise.
Well, I just think we elect our politicians, and our politicians, I don't really ever call on them and ask them for much, but in this case, I do, because it affects my home,
Yeah.
and I am asking, and I need their help when I'm asking, when it concerns my privacy in my own home. And we elect the politicians. They need to listen to the people,
Hmm.
and not some multinational corporation. One of my biggest two presidents that were in my history books of reading, my two heroes, one was Teddy Roosevelt, but the other was William Howard Taft, the 27th president from 1909 to um, um, 1913. And he used the Sherman Antitrust Act more than any other president's ever done. He broke up U.S. Steel. He broke up American Tobacco. They broke up J.P. Morgan's railroads. And, I'm saying maybe our president of the United States needs to break up some of these large corporations across the United States, because it's just gotten to the point where large corporations are running our government. It's not the people. And it's not a Democrat Republican issue.
Yeah.
This is an issue for all Americans.
Well, and there's rarely an issue like property rights, but I tell people all the time, one of my biggest issues is the Second Amendment, and that's a nonpartisan issue. Your right to keep and bear arms, your First Amendment rights, your Second Amendment rights, your Fourth Amendment rights. Like there are certain things that transcend all political conversations, all politics, how you're a registered voter, who you voted for, and your right to privacy is a huge component.
That's correct. I mean, that's why this country was formed. People did not like the way they were being treated in England, and they couldn't own property. They came to the United States to start a new life and to own property. Part of the castle doctrine from the Old English was used in writing our Fourth Amendment, where man's castle is his home, and he has the right to privacy in his own home. And if he's being investigated for a criminal act, there's strict search and seizures, and he has to obtain a search warrant, or the authorities have to obtain a search warrant to break that shield of a man in his home.
Talk to me a little bit, and we've only got a couple of minutes till the next break here, but talk to me a little bit about the process. Do you feel like your voice has been heard and from go in terms of you opposing this and finding out information? You said you didn't see the full map until court. Has there been any other surprises for you along the way?
I'm just amazed that so many people picked up on this, and I'm going to keep this out in front of the public until we get a certain resolution that is agreeable on both parties.
Yeah.
But my big thing is, I don't want 12 different companies and their employees and contractors having the ability to drive down my driveway 24/7.
That's fair. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we'll wrap up with Mr. Church. If you have any thoughts, go ahead and send them to John Bird on the text line, or give us a call. Send them to us on the text line. We'll open up the phone lines. You guys hold tight. It's Apryl Marie filling in for Andrew. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Apryl Marie here, filling in for Andrew. It's my tour of guest hosting. So, for those who don't know, I don't, Mr. Church, you don't know me. I used to have a radio show in Montgomery, and I commuted, and so I was commuting from Birmingham, and I'm on the far side from Birmingham to Montgomery, and I was doing it a couple times a week. And after a couple years, that wears on you, and so I gave up my show, and now I'm just a roving guest host, bumming time off of people when they go away. So I bummed some time off of Leland last month when he did his own grand adventure. And it's funny because I haven't even seen him. Leland's here today. So he went out on an RV trip and did his show. So I covered the first 2 weeks for his trip, and then he did the show from the road, which was really fun to kind of see the people he talked to. But it motivated me to do our own road trip. So I've got 3 kids. They're 7, 9, and 13. And we went and we flew out to Phoenix, and then packed up a car, got a little SUV, joined some friends. They have a toddler, and we went and did Flagstaff to see parts of Route 66, did the Hoover Dam, went to Vegas, and then came back down and did the really cool. It's the Grand Canyon West, which has the little glass thing you can walk on, and you just gorgeous, gorgeous. So I am not even fully recovered. I got back. I got back in time to vote on Tuesday. It's so funny. I was like, I need to be there in time to vote, and so got back just in time to vote Tuesday. So today is my first day, recovered from the 110-degree heat, because nothing prepares you for that.
Right now it's pretty hot.
It's pretty hot out there. And you're spending a lot of time outdoors on your own property. So I went to your social media. For those, it's Finn, Fenn Church. If you want to look him up on social media. John Rich, of course, has videos. There's a number of places here you can see the property. I talked about how kind of this came on. You've now had all sorts of media coverage, just local news stations out there. What do you say to those who are just kind of listening, tuning in, getting to know your story? How has this been?
It's been phenomenal. I mean,
is it restoring your faith and hope in humanity?
Yeah. When before Mr. Rich got involved, I'm friends with a couple of the board members on Alabama Power, and they were trying to help. But again, I thought I had a 1% chance, maybe at that time, of stopping all these vehicles and companies coming through my front driveway. And now that's changed. I've raised this issue certainly with John Rich and Jason Bartlett's help. I'm a novice to social media, but it is unbelievable, the power. I mean, I think we had over 1 million views in a week's time.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot. And it's a beautiful, as I've said, it's for those just tuning in, the property is in Shelby County. It's your home is in Calera.
That's correct.
And you've built this. I think one of the two mentioned your American flags. You've got flags flying on the property. That this really is your American dream.
That's work hard all your life, and then prepare for retirement.
Yep.
And so I'm turned 60 years old this year, and I'm officially in the fourth quarter.
Okay.
I haven't fully retired yet, but I'm working that way.
You're working on it. It's this is I see. I think I'm looking at Right Side Media, Alabama 42. You've gotten a lot of coverage. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to come here. What you're encouraging people to do is to write and call their elected officials and tell them they've heard your story. They recognize what could come, the dangers that could come of House Bill 400 that passed in 2019. Now, in terms of that, do you have a sense of how much traffic this is your driveway, your main driveway would get? Have they alluded to any of that?
It can be unlimited.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all how many companies they can sell those rights to. It can be unlimited. I think Allison described it yesterday as it could be the Talladega 500
Oh
coming
my
through my
goodness.
driveway.
You're not prepared for that. You weren't
No,
planning on that, were you?
no.
No. All right. Well,
But I would like to thank you for having me on the show today.
you're
Thank
welcome.
you for helping me get this message out. And to everybody out there listening, thank you so much for all the support that I've received. I mean, every single comment that I've seen has been just huge positive. And all of our politicians here in Alabama and in Washington need to see your comments. So please, I've been on this island kind of fighting this with John Rich and Jason Bartlett, but I need everybody
All
in
right.
helping me, because if they can do it to me, they can do it to anybody. And I think what they really need, Alabama Power really needs a good old boy negotiator that could go out and talk to these landowners if they need to put a transmission line up and try to work something out, instead of taking the approach that we can take this anytime we want and
Yeah.
bulldoze in.
It's a frightening prospect, to be honest. All right. Well, I appreciate you. We're going to take a quick break here. Going a little early, John Bird. You okay with that? He's nodding his head. We have his permission. We will be back in just a minute. You're listening to Apryl Marie filling in for Andrew. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Apryl Marie here, filling in for Andrew. Man, that time just flew by. He is really just a nice guy,
He
like
is.
just genuinely nice guy. We were chatting between the breaks. It, it's tough.
I think this is going to be landmark. This is going to be huge, not only for Alabama but for the country. I think.
This is one of those cases where you're kind of scratching your head and go, how did we get here?
Mm-hmm.
How is it that this Alabama situation that is getting national attention because somebody was tone deaf enough to not not do right by this landowner? And I'll join him in this. And I know, and you guys, if you want to see the statement, Leland read the statement by Alabama Power on air during his show after he interviewed John Rich. It's in my story. I copy and pasted the whole wordy statement in my story, and so you can read it over there. This is an anti-power company. I think that's an important distinction to make, and I'm glad he made it. This is an anti-power company. This is pro-property rights. This is treating somebody with dignity and respect, and quite honestly, I'm just a little surprised. I'm surprised we're here still talking about it. It feels like a couple of days into this, there should be a little bit more. There should be a little bit more of an olive branch happening, and so that's interesting. All right, as we wrap up today's program, and I gave myself a kind of a long segment here at the end. There were so many things I didn't get to. Okay, John Bird, I know you're not moving around at your best, but could you go figure out a way to lock Leland down the hall in the room he's at for just another hour? I just need one more
I
hour.
got to get through AJ.
Ugh.
Yeah, he's tough. AJ's a tough one.
AJ is a tough one. I wonder if I can bribe him. I have one pastry left. Okay, so we didn't get to all the things I wanted to get to, but I do want to talk a little bit about. We covered the Mangione. He pled guilty and admitted in open court that he planned the murder of Brian Thompson, took responsibility for that. The prosecution, we listened to their press conference. It was an open plea. There was no plea deal on the table, and the sentencing can be up to life without the possibility of parole. And so keep an eye out on that case. It strikes me. I've said it before. It really this case and the Charlie Kirk, they were really telling of people. The people's responses to these murders, to these assassinations. It showed us a side of the internet, of the individuals who were celebrating these deaths, or feigning some kind of understanding or sympathy or empathy with these criminals. It's insane to me. Yet we heard from individual after individual about those who have made Mangione a hero. He's not a hero. He's a cold-blooded killer. Tyler Robinson, who killed Charlie Kirk, cold-blooded killer. And there should be no equivocating on that. There should be no but no. It's disgusting. It's not who we are, and it was deeply troubling to see people come out and support him. And again, if you are one of those people who are like, but the insurance company, but the insurance industry, I want you to take a step back from the internet. I want you to take a step back, and this goes for people who support Candace Owen and the absolute nonsense she's spilling and espousing on a daily basis. I want you to take a step back from the internet and from the echo chamber. Go out there, get yourself into a church, get yourself back into the Word of God and your Bible, and remember and find your humanity, because it's inhumane the way that Brian Thompson was killed. It's inhumane. It's horrible the way that Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and the way that his family and his friends and his loved ones have been treated since then. It's disgusting and wrong. So we talked about that a lot today. I didn't get to the WNBA, but I just have to say, I feel like I'm watching these athletes, these men say they're identifying as trans, and I'm here for it. Okay. It feels like so many of us who have been on the front lines of this nonsensical fight that if a man puts on a dress and feels like a woman, he's a woman. It feels like we've been going at this alone for a long time. There was early on, those of us who saw this coming were very weary of it, and then as a nation, I feel like this was a large part. It was a big factor in some elections. President Donald Trump campaigned on getting men out of women's sports, getting men out of women's spaces, protecting our young girls. And I think it's incredible that now we've got some former NBA players stepping up and saying, "You know what? I identify. All right, you're gonna have your bar lower so low. Let's do it." John Bird, are you announcing your eligibility for the WNBA as soon
Uh,
as your knee heals?
yeah, I may have to be like an assistant coach,
Okay.
or maybe a water boy.
A hobbling water boy.
Yes.
But I'm here for it, and I just want to say on the record that this has been a long-standing argument of mine as a woman who is a member of Moms for Liberty. That women have been on the front line of fighting this. We have taken the brunt of this fight for too long. It is long past time for the men to stand with us. I say this every time that a young boy competes in girls' sports and takes away their places that they've hard earned, or takes away their scholarships, or inserts themselves into a woman's locker room. Where are the fathers? Where are the men to stand out? I'm not encouraging violence. I'm not. Absolutely, wholeheartedly not. But, where's the human chain to stop that boy from going to the locker room? Because there was a time in which fathers and men knew their roles to protect the women in their lives, and they would do so. If you haven't seen the case of the man who is just got over over out west where they're their own world, the man who wanted to be able to get naked around women and go into the bathhouse and get his junk waxed. Like, what in the world? That was as close to an Andrew comment as I'm getting today, by the way. But no, we have to stand up against this, and it's been women holding the line. It's been women out there saying, "Get this out of our classrooms, get this out of our schoolrooms," and it's long past time to do it. On that same note, I cannot stress this enough. If you are a parent listening to this show, if you are a grandparent, if you've got neighbors with school-aged children who are it's not just public schools, it's public schools and private schools. Talk to your kids about what they're seeing and hearing. I am on the education beat for 1819 News. These days, my beat has expanded a little bit. I'm education, but I'm also Central Alabama, which is how I got so interested in this Mr. Finchurch's story. But I really want to say, you have a responsibility for your children. We do so much as parents, and I don't want to say as conservative parents, but as conservative parents, to bring our kids up the right way. We're taking them to church on Sundays, I hope. We're talking to them about right and wrong. We're talking to them about how incredible and great our nation is. We are doing so much work. Do not allow the classroom to be the place where that is undone. I want you talking to your kids, not just about the main teacher they got. Talk to them about their Spanish teacher, their music teacher, their homeroom teacher. I want you to know everyone is spending time with your child. You would be surprised. People would be surprised to learn. There are teachers out there who are non-binary. I put that in air quotes because it's ridiculous. And they're having their kids call them by their first name or call them by Mix Jones out there. No, we're not doing that to our kids, all right? When you go to meet the teachers, when you go to the school over the next couple of weeks, look around. Look in that teacher's classroom. Look for evidence of DEI. Look for evidence of an LGBTQ agenda. Look for those rainbow stickers that we know are still out there in schools. You, as the parent, you have not just the right to know what's happening in your child's life, you have a responsibility. And at this new school year, if you're seeing something you don't like, you need to speak up about it. As a parent, I had my kids in private schools, and I thought I had shielded them, but I hadn't. They're all three going to be homeschooled this year, and the reason for that is do not take for granted, even in those private schools, that they're not getting a just ton of DEI. Even in those Christian schools, guys, a ton of DEI. They're not getting the radical gender ideology and being told that, yeah, your little girl classmate, she's a boy now, or she's non-binary now. That little boy, he's gone home for the summer, and he's decided he's a she, and we're all going to play along with this fairy tale. It's happening, guys. It's happening at first grade. It's happening in elementary schools. Pay attention to who the teachers are. Get to know the administrators of the school. It's so important. We have seen, even in schools around this area, where the substitute teachers come in and they're not meeting the same standards. How do you prevent that? Is you got to have that open communication with your students so that they're talking to you about what they're seeing and hearing in classes. But knowing those school administrators, it's incredibly, incredibly important. We talked earlier with Beth Quave from Daughters for the American Revolution as they are fighting. We just had a 12th chapter of here in Alabama stand up and say we're not going to have men in our women's spaces. Check out my stories there on 1819 News. I'll have another one naming those 12 chapters. So if you're wondering if the chapters around you, I got my hands on the full list of 12 chapters here in Alabama that have already voted for that. We talked to Mayor Durzas and Paul DeMarco, both of them in Hoover today. There was the groundbreaking, and I got pictures of it over here. Both of them, they had the groundbreaking of the new surgical center over in Stadium Trace. It's the South Haven Surgical Plaza that they broke ground on today. I'll have a story on that. It was really great to talk to Nick Durzas. I mentioned this a lot, but those municipalities paying attention. We can watch all day the national news, the national headlines. We can talk about foreign policy. We can talk about cuts that DOJ need to be making. I'm obsessed, if you guys didn't see it, with the Marco Rubio interview. The podcast he recently did where he kind of mocked a little bit of RFK and his sauerkraut, and they talked about Pop-Tarts. Love all that. But it's the stuff happening in your town. Are your basic services being funded? Is that funding being cut? Right here in Homewood. I'm sitting right here. What are we? We're maybe a block and a half at best away from Homewood Police Department. Those officers have been through hell and back over the officer-involved shooting a couple years ago. And how with BLM over here, now they are facing down, staring down budget cuts that would potentially mean 6 officers gone. This is almost $1 million. That's not an exaggeration. It's almost $1 million in budget cuts that is being proposed. Now, this isn't final. How do you get involved? Well, first off, no matter what municipality you're in, whether it's Hoover, Homewood, Trustville, Birmingham, pay attention to what that city council is doing. Get on their email list and then check out their budgets. What are we weighing all things as if they're equal? Is the library budget as important to you as your police and your fire? Because maybe it is. Maybe you really want that big investment. You really want 40, 50 library employees, even if it means less police and fire. Maybe that's where your priorities are. But your elected officials need to know this. So pay attention and get involved. For more news, follow me over on X, APRYL Marie, Apryl Marie on X. You can find my news and my writing over at 1819 News. Thanks for keeping me out of trouble, John Bird.
Anytime, my dear.
You guys hold tight for Leland. He will be up next. He's in studio today. Until next time, stay out of trouble.